Well, great job down there trackside, Jamie, as always, as we're set to go. Bob Johnson Auto Group DIRTcar Sportsman ready to go next for 20 very fast laps. Those of you heading out, we certainly do appreciate you joining us. Again, remember, next week we are off. No racing scheduled next Friday, but we'll be back on August the 28th. Take care, Dave and Cindy Johnson. Hopefully you have a lovely evening. Stop down at the Bay Store and see them. They make the good stuff there. Nathan going to be taking the green flag here in just a few moments as the Massey's Furniture Barn caution flag waves. It is Caleb Howard going away from the pole in the 90 with the 2 of Greg Henry. Row number 2, Paul DeRuyter in the 1D along with the 18G of Justin Gadbaw. Row number 3, Mason Rogers, the 44 with the 34K of Keegan Nier. Row number 4, Frank Sibley in the 92, the Fox 28, Tyler Stevenson. Row number 5, it will be Owen Nier in the 17 with the 14 of Camdin Cook joining him. Row 6, Eric Nier, just 20 points back of the point lead in the 34. Brady Howard, last week's feature winner in winner from 2 weeks ago in the 54. Row number 7, Gavin Eisele in the 18, the points leader with last week's winner, Karl Comfort in the 10. Row number 8, Trevor Gibbons, the 621 with the 52, Jessica Power. Row number 9, Dustin Hutton, the 7D with the 418, Brodie Davis. Row 10, Jonathan Murphy, the 62 with the 9B of Greg Gould and Logan Brown, completing it in the number 9 machine. And that will do it for your starting lineup for tonight's Bob Johnson Auto Group DIRTcar Sportsman feature go. Who will land in Bob Johnson Auto Group victory lane? We are going to find out very shortly. So white flag are ready to go. Green next time by. 20 laps. Ready for green. Bob Johnson Auto Group pace truck peels off the speedway to the infield. And we're ready to go. Caleb Howard and Greg Henry on the front row. Mason turns them loose. Green lights are on at the FX Cabrera Kia start zone, and we're underway. Field charges into turn number 1 and 2, and it will be Caleb Howard jumping out into the race lead as they hit the back straightaway. Greg Henry, Paul DeRuyter, Justin Gadbaw. We're 3 wide for 5th. Tyler Stevenson makes the big move early. He'll pick up the couple of spots as they cross the line for lap number 1. Scored for Caleb Howard. Great battles going on all over the racetrack here as they work it up into turn number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. And it is Caleb Howard in control. As Paul DeRuyter moving in, and Jessica Power slows in turn number 3 and 4. The 52 of Power, second in the championship point standings, slows with a problem. The Massey's Furniture Barn caution flag waves at lap number 2, and keep in mind, 8 points behind Gavin Eisele coming into the championship tonight, as the 52 has gone straight to pit road and to the attention of her crew. Sean, Chris, Jamie, and Jen going right to work on that race car towards the rear end of the race machine. Possible tire going down. We're not quite sure. We're looking at it on our monitor up here.
Hurry up the track, flat tire. Huh? The bridge somewhere on the track, color clear.
So Jessica Power and the number 52 feature winner here with us back on July the 10th. And those of you who have been paying attention to our On This Day in History list that we have each and every week at Can-Am on our Facebook page, Jessica Power with that win on July the 10th, she'd actually won on that same day 10 years ago on July 15th.
It sometimes happens that way.
It does, yeah. And it's kind of a fun thing that we do, and keeping track of the winners from the years previous on the current day.
Yeah, back in 1976, the winner in the 358 Modifieds, Barry Poitras.
That's right.
X27 car.
That's true. Barry started very, very young driving race cars, too. He was about 14 or 15 years old.
I had a chance to watch him win a feature at Watertown Speedway when he was 16 years old.
Wow.
Driving that X27 car.
Right.
And Doug Atkinson says, we got to get written permission from your parents before you can do that again. And it was too bad because Barry just walked away with that thing. When he got out of the car, everybody's jaw dropped.
Right.
But at 16 years old back then, that was unbelievable.
Exactly.
So that did occur. You had to be 18 back then.
Right.
Before you
that's
started
true.
in without your parents' permission.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Who'd have thunk it, though? And he drove right into about the mid to late 90s, I believe.
He certainly
Barry
did. He finished up his career at what's now Mohawk International Raceway at Frogtown.
Right.
He did run for a while at Cornwall Speedway, kind of on and off a little bit there.
Yeah.
And he did on and off here a little bit, too, with that X27.
Yeah, he did. Real strong competitor, Kingston area driver, and
Yep.
won the prestigious Memorial Cup at Mohawk,
He
too, over the
certainly
years.
did. Yeah, he was a winner of that in 1990, I believe.
Yep, I believe you might be right on that
Yep,
one.
he and Roger Lalone, the twin 20s up there.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not trying to go one up on you.
No, you were there. I was not.
I certainly. It was a good one.
So that's important right there. Jessica Power coming back out. I mentioned that earlier, Jamie. She's only 8 points behind Gavin Eisele in the chase for this championship.
That is huge right there. I think all they wanted to do, if they found something that, might hinder her from getting up towards the front, they're probably saying, just get the points out there. It's just too close to be off the racetrack, so they did everything they could to get it back out there again.
Absolutely, and Eric Nier, he's 20 points behind Gavin Eisele right now, running in the 5 spot. Gavin Eisele is mired back in traffic. Again, we're only at lap number 2, so Eisele about 13th spot right now, and Jessica Power obviously at the tail end. So
shows you how competitive this field has become from last year to this year.
Absolutely, it has. And Tyler Stevenson, 28 points behind the the point leader Eisele as well. So we'll see how this all unfolds. We got 2 laps complete, 18 to go, 8 more till the halfway point. Mike Leclerc looks them over, ready to go green at the FX Capera Kia start zone in turn number 4. Green lights are back on and we're underway. And again, Caleb Howard jumps on in front as they hustle down the back straightaway. Paul DeRuyter wants to go to the lead, but behind them, they're 3 wide. Eric Nier and the 28 of Tyler Stevenson split the 18 of Justin Gadbaw into turn number 3 and 4. Nier may have the preferred groove down around the bottom, trying to get around Tyler Stevenson for that spot as they go into turn number 1 and 2. Meanwhile, your points leader, Gavin Eisele, working towards a top 10 spot as they work down the back straightaway with Karl Comfort right there with them. Down the back stretch, battle going on there for position number 5 and 6 as the 14 of Camdin Cook, 18 Justin Gadbaw, 92 Frank Sibley. And Sibley will take over a couple of spots down the front straightaway. So Frank Sibley now to 6th. 7th is Cook as they battle down the back straightaway. 8th is Eric Nier, Justin Gadbaw, and Mason Rogers, the top 10. As they work in lap number 5 of this 20-lap contest, Paul DeRuyter has taken over the lead as Tyler Stevenson, he's made his way to 2nd. He'll get around the 90 of Caleb Howard into turn number 1 and 2. Howard back to 3rd. Eric Nier could make up some big-time points here tonight as your top 2 in the point standings are mired in traffic as they head up into turn 3 and 4 and down to the line. Score lap number 6 on the board for Paul DeRuyter. And DeRuyter, after 10 wins in the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman class here, would love nothing better than to get his first ever win. But right now, Eric Nier trying to make up some points big time. He'll get around the 90 of Caleb Howard. He moves to 3rd. Now he'll try to go after Tyler Stevenson down the front straightaway. Working lap number 7. It's still Paul DeRuyter in control. Stevenson working right there on the outside lane as they roll through 1 and 2. Eric Nier and Caleb Howard watching that battle as we see Nier go down the back straightaway. He's all by himself right now, holding on to 3rd. as they work in turn 3 and 4 and back down to the line. Paul DeRuyter looking for that first ever win in the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. Tyler Stevenson has had a couple of tough weeks here at Can-Am, would like to get back into victory lane as we watch a battle for positions 5, 6, and 7 between Frank Sibley, Greg Henry, and Keegan Nier as they motor into turn number 3 and 4 and down to the line. Paul DeRuyter still your race leader. And once again, Stevenson closing quickly down the back straightaway as we watch the battle for positions 5, 6, and 7 once again. Motoring down the back straightaway, Frank Sibley, Keegan Nier, and Greg Henry. But we work lap number 10, and Paul DeRuyter looking strong, Jamie. Could we get a first-time winner?
He's looking good out there, Tim. The runner up in front, but Tyler Stevenson trying to close that gap out there as the runner has about a 3-car length lead over his nearest competitor, and we got a car that is stopped up on the number 4 turn in the Massey's Furniture Barn. Caution comes out. It's Greg Gould in the 9B. And Greg is able to get it going again. I don't know what happened. He went way wide on the number 4 turn and just shut it down there on the very outside part of the racetrack. He's able to get it going again, but we'll see if he'll join the field. And I don't know, but what he may be looking towards the pit area. But Paul DeRuyter is your leader. Tyler Stevenson second. Keegan Nier is third. Caleb Howard is back there fourth. And Frank Sibley rounds out the top 5. Well, Tim, you take a look at this field right now, and
yes, sir.
Paul had that lead, but I'll tell you, Tyler Stevenson was on the move, and he came up with about 3 car lengths short. And you know, in this division, if you don't keep that momentum going on a restart, it could be dangerous.
It certainly could. You could lose quite a bit of spots, and that's what Tyler Stevenson is trying to avoid here, especially on the restarts. These restarts can get kind of crazy with these Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman cars with the crate engines in them and everything. Everybody's scrambling for every position that they could possibly find on the racetrack. But Tyler Stevenson, he would like to gain a bunch of points. And I was mentioning running in third. That is actually Keegan Nier. I mentioned it was Eric. Eric is running in spot number 6, still running in a really good position. I think with Eisele and Jessica Power kind of mired back there in traffic, he could stand to gain a lot of points here tonight.
Yeah, you take a look at the top 5, Tim, and right now, and they're pretty evenly matched.
Right.
But as far as that front goes right now, Tyler Stevenson is right where he wants to be. That car's been working on the outside part of this racetrack, and I think he likes the outside no matter what.
He's won a lot of races from that outside lane here, and would not surprise me if he takes the lead here on this restart, but anything could happen. We still got 10 laps left to go. Bob Johnson Auto Group Can-Am Speedway pace truck peels off the racetrack. We are going green, Mr. Davis.
All right, cars come around. They're headed toward the FX Caprera Kia start zone. And Mike LeClaire looks him over. He says, "You look great." Green flag is out, and we're racing again. And the runner comes down the front straightaway as Tyler Stevenson does just what I thought he'd do. He went to the outside part of this racetrack, and it panned out for him. And a big pileup on a backstretch, and a couple of cars coming together real hard back there. One of them is the 14 of Camdin Cook, and the other car that was involved, the 418 of Brodie Davis. A tough break for Camdin Cook. He was running right up in there, and the word has it Jessica Power has got a broken shock on that car, and that will make things ill handling for the 52, but Jessica is good enough to make that work for her, and she is pulling way to the outside, and I think she wants to go to the pits. You see Cam over there, and they came together hard on that backstretch, Tim, and I don't know. That was quite a hard collision coming off that number 2 turn.
And it could have been a lot worse than what it turned out to be. Camdin Cook spun right in front of everybody, and Brodie Davis just barely hit him over there, and I don't know how he didn't get collected up any more than what he did, but we'll see how what the damage is to both cars. Looks like Davis looks like they're going to put the hook on him and get him to pit road. Jessica Power, we saw her over there on the front stretch, or on the back stretch. Now she has a broken right front shock. It was hanging down. So she will be able to go to the pits once we go back to the Massey's Furniture Barn caution.
I don't know what they're going to be able to do with that shock. That's a whole nother ball game when you got one of those. If you had more time, like
right.
another intermission to change that, you could, but you really can't do much here. And as you see, those of you watching on DTD, you can see that a couple of people are over there talking to her, and I'm sure they're letting her know that shock is dangling there.
Yeah, and good. Well, word trackside, Jamie, that everybody in that accident back there is all right. So that is a good sign.
As our race director was saying, they're basically ricocheting off of each other. Thank goodness we didn't have everybody coming off that number 2 turn and catch a wheel and go over.
That is the main part, and glad to see that did not happen. Ray Abbott and the team on the backstretch doing their thing back there.
Brodie Davis, he kind of got the worst of that. His ricochet was a little bit more worse than the rest of them, I think, that did. But Camdin Cook, he probably thought he was in a boxing match there, the way they were ricocheting off the side of that car.
My goodness, and that's right at the point where everybody is pretty well full throttle off of turn number 2 and heading down the back straightaway at full song. So
Cam, of course, had some good races in the limited sportsman class. He really was shining there and said it's time to move up. He's moved up into the sportsman division. He's done pretty well for a fellow who's only in his 2nd year driving the regular sportsman class.
Yeah, he still surprisingly has not won, and now going back to the Massey's Furniture Barn caution flag right now, Jessica Power is able to get back to pit road with the 52. So not quite sure if it's just the shock or if it is the shock tower. Now, if it's a shock tower, that's when it gets into a really bad situation.
You got to take the wheel off. You got to take everything apart to replace that.
That's right. You
got, I believe, you can correct me on this, but the spring on the front end there, where that shock is located, you got to pull the spring, and it just turns into one massive mess.
It's pretty much it, and they have had a tough night here. And I believe it was last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago at Brockville, they ended a near year-and-a-half streak of finishing no worse than 10th. And the same streak was going on here at Can-Am. Now, they're still working on the car, but they're not moving as quickly as they were earlier, so could that streak come to an end here tonight? We're going to find out.
Yeah, this is a problem where Sean and Jamie and them are going to have to talk this over and say, do we continue with this kind of half shock on here? It's making for an ill-handling race car. Do we want to take the chance of maybe piling this thing up, or do we want to just probably come off the back, maybe pass 2 or 3 cars, let it go at that, and get some points out of this? It's kind of hard to make a decision right here.
It really is, and you see Camdin Cook go by. Obviously, his night is pretty well over, and that's a tough thing to do, especially at this point in the year. And we mentioned the point standings are really, really close.
Yeah.
So doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it back out, but again, never say never, because here they come now.
Yeah, she's backing it away. She's going to try to come out. We're watching this on DTD, and she's coming back out onto the speedway. They're trying to make the best of it, and you can see she's, struggling. As you can see, that right front just does not look right. But what are you going to do? I mean, it's either go back out there and try to finish the race. You really can't get up to do anything, because
that's about it, really. And it still doesn't. It's vibrating pretty bad over there on the backstretch, and
you can see it.
Yeah, she's gonna try to stick with it here.
She's a good enough driver to try to make something like that work.
Absolutely. We're looking at it here on the way by, and it's
Yeah.
One of the other things that these drivers will do in a situation like this, if a shock tower is broke, is they'll actually take a chain,
You know, you look
tie
at
it to the frame.
that. You can do that, but
I don't know how you drive something like that.
I don't either, and I've seen them do that in the past. But you know, you talk about the toe on the front end of the car.
Right.
That definitely changes the toe.
Big
And
time.
You're going to have to. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be driving that race car right now. I'm.
Not me. I'm happy right here.
Of course, then again, I'm not Jessica Power. You know, that's
She
a
can
whole
do-
different ballgame.
She can do wonders behind the wheel of a
She
race car.
certainly
She
can.
is great.
All right, here they come through the FX Caprera Kia start zone. Mike says, let's go. And all around. Oh, my God. We got a terrible accident here on the front straightaway. And it is the 92 of Frank Sibley. And I was looking at the front, Tim, and I did not see what caused that at all. I just happened to catch it.
There's 2 on the catch fence, too.
Looks like he hooked the wheel. Safety team right on the scene there. Down here in front. All of our safety team, including Mike Leclerc, chief starter down there.
As soon as we get a report trackside, ladies and gentlemen, we'll pass it along to you. Driver trying to get out of the car, that's when you're upside down, that is tough to get the equipment off and try to get out of there without hurting yourself to begin with.
Yeah, it's tough deal in there with all the safety harnesses and the head and neck restraints. Not sure if we're able to catch a replay of that or not, but main deal is waiting to see that Frank is there. So word trackside is that Frank Sibley is okay over there. He's just talking with officials right now. Let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very difficult thing to have to go through. Of course, a lot of Frank's family is here tonight in attendance as well. So we're going to try to get another look at it here, Jamie, in our monitor up here. And we'll see if we can see it.
Yeah, they were watching the front of the field as it came around, and again, that almost is what I saw right there, what you just saw
Exactly.
on the replay.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it again. And down the front, they say they came, and
It's
there
like
it is, right there.
just a wheel got hooked or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Frank will be able to tell a lot better than we can. But the main deal is he's all right, and Frank is having one of those seasons that we talked about talked about it earlier tonight with him and his wife Jennifer. They're having quietly one of their best seasons ever. Feature win earlier this year.
Very competitive car.
Very.
He has been one of the most consistent drivers here at Can-Am, if anything. I remember when I was here last year and he won that heat race and then come out and had a darn good feature. And
Right.
it's just a matter of time. Frank Sibley's going to be in that #1 spot. That is for certain. Obviously, the damage on this car is pretty good.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll be able to leave Frank right there walking around on the front straightaway in the
Yes,
infield.
it is.
Yep. Made an attempt to qualify last year for the Great Lakes 75 at Super Dirt Week. Unfortunately, his day ended with another car upside down in turn 1, but a slower rollover.
Frank is walking around, and I hope the safety crew's over there check and make sure that he's all right. I'd like to walk away from something like that if you can. again, Tim, it gives you an idea how fast they're going at this racetrack. And when you get a tacky surface like this,
yes,
you are going to get that speed regardless of whether you got a crate motor or you don't.
Yeah, well, it can happen in any division like that, you know.
When I was down in front, I was watching the 358 modifieds go by.
Right.
That looked like old school racing from back in the 80s, and
certainly
right
did.
there. And I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
That's right.
They are really moving along.
Yeah, they're really going around here, and you know, that's just it. The things like this are bound to happen, but you know, everybody's, like I was saying earlier, everybody's jockeying for position on these restarts, trying to get every position, every spot that they can. And you know, we got how many cars out there? We got 21 race cars on the track, and all of them have a plan. Unfortunately, when you put 21 different plans together, they don't exactly work out very well. But
especially with the expense there is nowadays with these race cars,
exactly.
Not just fuel, but tires and the price just of tires alone. Since I was in it and sponsoring a car with tires, you know, you used to pay $150 for a right rear on a race car, and like $75 for the right front. Now you're paying $400 for the tires on the rear end and $250 for the right front.
Exactly, and it's
since those are the main ones on
that's
the car.
right, and you know that all too well, and you sponsored several cars in the what was then known as the 320 modified division.
320
our 358s now, but
yeah, I know.
Terry Bushbacker was one of your drivers.
Yep, did the sheet metal on that car.
That's right.
Fuel, I think, is the one we did with Bobby Thurston's car.
Mm-hmm.
And with Steve Bilow's car, that was tires and occasional fuel. So the price of tires and getting new ones back then, I was okay because I had the DJ business. I could do that.
Sure.
Now $400 for.
That's almost like a night of DJing at your local pub. You know.
I don't know. You're spending $1,000 on tires now, and that's double what I spent back in the day.
Exactly.
But you can see the car being towed away, and my heart goes out to the Sibley team. First thing, Frank got out of the car, he took one look at the car, and I thought he was going to start crying right there.
Well,
I don't blame him one bit.
He's a resilient guy, and he'll do what it takes to try to get back out here and get things rolling again.
Yeah.
But he's
my gosh, I haven't seen one go like that in a long time here, Tim.
Exactly, and just shows the you know, quality of the safety equipment of these cars too, right?
Yeah, that is one thing over the years that I have been thankful for. That is the fact that I talked with Bill Cook, and he's been in it a long time. And we always talk about how much the changes in the safety in these cars and how much different they are and how much safer they are.
Right.
With everything.
Exactly.
You know, back in the day, there wasn't any such thing as a fuel cell at one point.
No.
They were running regular gas tanks, and they were even using, some of them were using beer kegs as gas.
I have actually heard stories about that too. Yeah, that's no joke. They did.
I know some are watching and they're saying, well, that couldn't possibly happen. But some of the older guys that are, you know, remember from back in the day, they're probably saying, yes, that did happen.
And you know, we've heard stories over the years of people going out. Well, they'd run out of fuel themselves to have for their car for the race night. They'd be out siphoning fuel out of Cadillacs and whatever else they could find in the parking lot.
Some of the chassis back in the day, I know that when Toby DeBias was building cars, he had that tubular frame. And I wasn't a big fan of that thing because that was like a rocket ship with a body on it.
Yeah, basically.
And it was just now with the Bicknell and the Troyer chassis, that's a little bit better. I like the looks of that. That looks a little bit safer. But of course, back in the day, I mean, that was the car to have. Was one of the Tobias chassis cars.
Right. But
there's one other one, and his name escapes me, that had cars that come out of that Pennsylvania and New Jersey circuit. And some of those cars, they were rocket ships on wheels, running alcohol and everything back then down there. And
104-inch right rear tires.
And they had the drag rubber. They were running drag rubber, dirt drag rubber on the back end of them.
Right.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who weren't around back then and couldn't see that stuff, let me tell you, things have come a long way.
Yeah, they really have.
Longer than you think.
Exactly. Well, we've got everybody where they need to be. Now, we talked about the point getters. Eric Nier in the 34. It looks like he's getting pushed to pit road now. So after all this going on, and Jessica Power back out in the 52, Gavin Eisele currently runs in position, unofficially, in position number 7.
Yeah, he sees a lot going on in front of him, and he kind of has made his way up through very gingerly in this race. Paul DeRuyter is up in front. Tyler Stevenson running in the number 2 spot. Keegan Nier is right there in 3rd. Caleb Howard is 4th right now.
Single file restart.
Hard to watch, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, Tyler Stevenson has been very fast out there with that car of his, and he is continuing to run the high side of this racetrack, and it is paying big dividends for him, at least tonight. This is one of those nights where the track really hasn't had a chance to slick up and put down rubber, and you're going to stick no matter where you go tonight, and he's got that outside working really well for him. And Paul DeRuyter has done everything right tonight too, so this should be an interesting restart right here between these two. All right, here they come off that turn into the FX Caprera Kia start zone. Green flag is out. And Paul DeRuyter trying to hang on to that lead. Nier down on the bottom. He wanted to go right up through and take over the number 1 spot there. Tyler Stevenson and Nier in the 34 trying to go to work on DeRuyter. And Keegan Nier on the bottom side of this racetrack. And he is making some time out there. 3 of them vying for the number 1 spot out there, but it's Paul DeRuyter, your leader. Nier moves into the number 2 spot. In that 34. Stevenson trying to come back on the outside. A great battle shaping up for the number 2 spot out there. As they come off the turn, Paul DeRuyter out in front. Stevenson right there in 2nd. Nier is back there in 3rd. Keegan Nier sits there in the number 3 spot. As around they come to complete lap number 14, and it's all Paul DeRuyter. Tyler Stevenson back there in 2nd. Keegan Nier runs in 3rd. The amazing Mason Rogers right there in 4th, but he's getting a challenge on the outside. As they come off the turn, DeRuyter still leads it. Tyler Stevenson and Nier fighting it out for that number 2 spot. They continue to go at each other out there, and Stevenson gets that number 2 spot once again. Gavin Eisele on the move. He and Mason Rogers fighting it out for the number 4 spot out there, and Eisele will get by and take over 4th. Rogers rounds out the top 5 now is Paul DeRuyter. 16 laps completed. Round he comes, and he's got about a 3 to 4 car length lead over Tyler Stevenson and Keegan Nier. Gavin Eisele runs back there in 4th. Mason Rogers runs back in 5th. And Jessica Power pulls to the infield.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
And And the left rear side of the car has dropped down, and that is a possible shock tower right there. The left rear is now rubbing on the fender of the car, and you definitely cannot stay out there, Tim Baltz, with that car like that.
Not at all. That is a very tough race car to drive, and that car has not been too kind to Jessica all night long since really the start of the night when she got caught up in that jingle down here in turn 1 and 2. So it's her third trip to the pit area.
I can just hear her inside that car now. Now what's gone wrong?
In several other words to follow.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
you know, it's one of those things
I'm
where
sure.
this has been one of those strange evenings of racing, you know. It's
And you have them.
top drivers in the points having their struggles tonight.
Well, Paul DeRuyter and Tyler Stevenson have been, and Keegan Nier for that matter, they've been pretty consistent tonight.
Right.
And I think we're going to end up with quite the finish here at the tail end. I can see this coming.
Right.
Because there's a lot going on behind Paul DeRuyter, I can tell you that.
Definitely. Well, Paul DeRuyter still looking for his first ever Bob Johnson Auto Group DIRTcar Sportsman win. He is the winningest driver in the Donath Motorworks Limited Sportsman with 10 wins. As we watch on our monitor up here, they're continuing to go to work on the number 52, Jessica Power, the left rear.
Now, Tim, I'm going to ask you this. What do you do now? I mean, there's really not a whole lot you can do here.
Exactly.
Get the car out there and hope that tire doesn't blow. I mean,
Yep.
you really can't run that tire either. I mean, you've probably been grooved a little bit right there with
Right.
running on the fender.
Yeah, it's one of them things where you either well, they're not going to give up. They're still working away on it over there, but
they are.
they're going to do what they can to try to fix it. And they've got good people down there, as we talked about earlier, and it's just a big struggle. That's for sure.
Well, they continue to look and see what they can do. I mean, they got it jacked up, and they're looking back there and look like they're kind of having a meeting there to see what they're going to do. I'm really
exactly
baffled on what you possibly could do.
Not much you can, but we are coming back to green, and we'll see if Paul DeRuyter can hold on for career win number 1.
And out of the FX Capera Kia start zone they come. Green flag is out, and we're off and racing once again. And Tyler Stevenson with a slick move there takes over the number 1 spot. Paul DeRuyter is back there in second. And here comes Eisele on the outside. Off the turn they come. 2 laps remaining for Tyler Stevenson. Paul DeRuyter back there in second. Keegan Nier rides third. Gavin Eisele trying to move up to take that number 3 position away from Nier in the 34N. White flag is out for Tyler Stevenson in the Fox 28 car. Paul DeRuyter is back there in the number 2 spot. Nier down on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to get that number 2 spot away from Paul DeRuyter as 3 of them fight for that second spot. Coming around, take the checkered flag as the Fox 28 and Tyler Stevenson. DeRuyter will get the number 2 spot. It looked like Nier took third. Gavin Eisele was 4th. Mason Rogers will round out the top 5. Owen Nier will get.
There it is. He's up there now. Third win this year, and I'll tell you what, restart couldn't come at a better time for him. Do you think you had anything for Paul that restart didn't happen?
I feel bad because we fit next to Paul, but he was the car of the night. He was really good.
Put his head up.
Yeah, I don't know if we would have got him. We were about the same speed as him. I was going to be a good run, so I feel bad for him. We'll laugh about it later in the pit. But what an awesome race car. The track was fantastic tonight.
Can't get off far enough.
The race, where I was really good. We've been fixing our stuff these past few weeks, but we had good race up front here, and it's all really good, controlling. So I got to thank my parents. celebrations. The list goes on and on and on. And these people we want to be doing it. So thanks to everyone. Thanks for everyone coming out. Thanks to the Bartlett family for putting a good race track together. And we're excited for the rest of the season here.
Absolutely, and good way of going to the off week too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's time to get good notes and come back stronger than ever. So it's just very thankful for everyone here and my family. I also have to shout out Grandpa Bob Thurston Sr. 90th birthday yesterday, and he thinks of the golf too. So without him by our side, it wouldn't be the same.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, congratulations. Go